Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the PMRL Racing League. We are here from Watkins, Glen for the 8th race of the season. It's gonna be a 58 lap race, I do believe, here tonight. So it's gonna be a pretty long one, but we are running on a slightly different configuration of Watkins Glen, so that will spice up the race here a little bit. Looking at the track right here, it's mostly the same layout, but if you look closely on the back straight, there's no chicane there, which we normally run on this track. So that means that there should be a little bit more passing going into the very long turn 5 here than it is now on this layout of the track. So very high speeds around Watkins Glen, going to be a great race to watch. Very high track temperatures at the moment, so that's why the lap times are a little bit down compared to last season, where we saw 1 minute 24 in qualifying on, you could argue, a slower layout of the track, but that's all due to the track temperatures at this point. But as you can see on the timing tower, just 11 cars with us tonight. A lot of drivers having other commitments, or maybe just taking some rest from the Sebring 12-hour race on iRacing over the weekend. But hopefully for the next few races we will have those numbers back up again. But glad to have you all with me here tonight for round 8 of the season. And quickly taking a look at the remainder of the schedule then. Of course, we have Watkins Glen tonight. Then next week we go to Pocono, the third Triple Crown round, and then the 4th oval of the season. And then the final race of the season overall is going to be Laguna Seca. So those two races going to be very crucial for the championship fight, which we will go over in just a quick second. But before we do that, let's quickly bring up the slideshow for Vopsy iRacing Paints. Of course, as always, check it out, Vopsy lowercase iRacing. Vilda does great iRacing paints for not just the Indycar, but also plenty of other iRacing cars on the service. So check it out, Vopsy lowercase iRacing on Instagram. Alright, so let's quickly go over the championship standings. So Will Lyon leads it over his SMS teammates Daniel Dinsdale by 55 points. But this is also including that break week that we applied last week. So an SMS Racing 1-2 in the Drivers' Championship. Jasper Orman sits in 3rd, just 12 points behind Dinsdale. Then we got Matthew Levine also for SMS Racing in 4th, up 2 spots. And also up 2 spots is Shane Burke, who is doing a real-life karting event this weekend, so that's why he couldn't make the race, so good luck to him over there. But the rest of the championship top 10 is Sam Blackwood, who drops 2 positions. He is just 1 point behind Shane Burke though, so Sam is actually racing tonight, so he will take over that 5th position in the points. Andreas Eich sits in 7th, with David Saranso dropping 4 spots. He didn't race last week. Then we got Hugo Olsen up 4 into 9th, and then Connie Naslund rounds off that top 10 with the latest series winner, Sheriff van der Sloot, also not present, but he sits in 11th. Just a few points behind Connie Naslund as well. So looking over the Teams Championship really quickly, SMS Racing, I do believe, has already clinched that going into this race. So they lead by well over 130 points over Indy Alliance Racing. Then we got Simtech Motorsports after winning last week, moving into the 3rd position. So those are the championship standings going into this event. As we have qualifying wrapping up here at the moment. And at the moment it's Daniel Dinsdale, the pole sitter from last season, on the provisional pole again. Just under a minute left though, so that can still change. Let's take a look at the timing screens then and see if anybody is on an improvement. I do know that Will Lyon is not out on track, so you could argue that Dinsdale and Will Lyon are each other's biggest competitors. And Dinsdale at the moment, just over 100th of a second clear over Will Lyon. As Daniel makes his way around the final 2 corners here. Into the penultimate one and then the final one. As he runs a little bit wide. Through the final corner, very easy to run out too wide, which he actually did right there. Might have clipped the wall, which is going to mean the end of his lap as he will tow to the pits with 3 seconds left. Matthew Levine was able to start a qualifying lap, his final attempt, just before the time ran out. So let's go on board with him, see what he can do. Again, running a slightly different Watkins Glen layout. Just to the right is the fast left, right, left chicane. Going into what is now turn 5. Down the hill again, as we have some traffic on the right hand side on the NASCAR layout into turn 6. And now going into the boot section of the track. This one goes downhill on the entry to the corner, then goes uphill in the middle, and then all the way up on the exit. Very easy to lose the back end there. By clipping the grass, you want to take as much speed as possible through there. Then going into turn 8. Downhill braking once again. Can run out wide here a little bit as well due to the new scan of iRacing's Watkins Glen. You can actually use the runoff areas a little bit more. Through turns 9, 10 and 11 to round off the lap then. This one is flat out, turn 10. And then turn 11, the final corner, oh so fast. Like I mentioned with Daniel Dinsdale's lap, very easy to hit that outside wall, but Levine does it just fine. Across the line he goes. And doesn't look like an improvement at the moment, and I don't think it was, so that's going to wrap up qualifying for us here. At least we did cover about a full lap of qualifying. Want to quickly point out something as well from my personal side. My bed moved upstairs to a new room, so that's why the audio levels might be a little bit weird. The audio quality might be a little bit off as well, so I apologize about that, but my room is a little bit empty, which you might be able to hear on the broadcast. If not, great. If you can hear it, I apologize if it's disturbing you or something. But hopefully it's all good, as we have qualifying results in, I do believe. No, we do not just yet. Just have to wait a little bit longer. There we go, we're into warm-up now, so the drivers have 5 minutes left to get the final adjustments ready for the race as always. So quickly looking at the starting grid, Daniel Dinsdale, 17 thousandths of a second clear of his teammate Will Lyon on the pole position. So SMS Racing 1, 2, 3 in fact in qualifying, with Matthew Levine on that third spot. Then not too far back, about 20 thousandths of a second, is Sam Blackwood, who is still searching for his first podium. With a little bit smaller field, we might be able to see Sam on the podium for the first time tonight, so let's keep an eye on him. If luck goes his way, he might be up there at the end. Anna Jorfi qualifies in P5, brilliant effort by her by the way. Just 4 tenths behind the pole sitter. Callum Croxton, who's new to the league, qualifies in 6th. Then we got Jesper Orban and Erika Lindstrom for Indy Alliance Racing on row 4, with Connie Naslund also behind as well, another teammate. Then we got Sam Moyle on the 10th position with Sebastian Kinder, the final qualifier for Team Watson Racing in P11. Then the 3 admins as well, Vilde, Jessica and Gary. Got Devin Clark supporting Sam Moyle, or the Sam Moyle gang I should say. And I got Thomas Christensen in chat as well. Used to race in the league. Thomas, how about a return next season? No lap times on the board just yet, but they will come in very soon. So before we go into the race itself, fuel window will be about 17 to 18 laps if my information from previous races around this track is correct. So we will see a few pit stops over here in this race, which of course will only spice up the action. Like we saw in the real life Bahrain Grand Prix, the tires going away will definitely spice things up. And speaking of those tires, the reds will go off very quickly. Which actually brings me to another topic I really love talking about, as you guys all probably know by now. The track temperature, 48 degrees Celsius, which is very high. The reds will probably not last very long. The air temperature being 29 degrees certainly doesn't help as well. So I expect this to be a primary race, which means that the drivers will probably start the race on the blacks, then go to the reds at the end of the race when the track is the absolute coolest, which will also mean that there's more life in the reds at the end, and also a little bit more consistency in the tire for the end of that stint. Got Devin Clark in chat, of course, supporting Samuel. So let's go on board with Sam here. Out of the final corner, just a minute and a half left. Sam Blackwood is the first across the line for a time. 1:27.9. Sam Moyle goes across the line too, but I think he's starting a lap here, so no time on the board just yet for Sam. On the reds. So Sam probably gonna start the race on those reds as well. Got Sam Blackwood out on the blacks, which would indicate a primary tyre start for Sam, I would expect at least. Goes a little bit wide through turn 5, which is not great. Very easy to do because you're approaching turn 5, which with so much more speed than the drivers are used to, running the normal boot configuration of the track for so many times in the past in PMRL, but also other leagues and open series and fixed series and whatever, with the Indycar and other cars as well, of course. So running without that chicane is a little bit weird. Even watching the cars fly through turn 5 there is a little bit weird for me to watch, but we should be used to that by the end. Jesper Orman and Seb Kinder with a very similar time, 1:28.28. As Will Lyon goes half a second quicker than Sam Blackwood on... Let me quickly check, as Sam Blackwood goes for a spin. Will on the reds, so that explains that difference probably as well. But Sam got loose through turn 10, which is something that I found in practice to be very easy to do as well. The thing is, if you get the line wrong, if you clip the grass on the outside or clip a little bit too much of the curb on the inside or just put in too much steering input in general, it's very easy to loop the rear end of the car around, because remember that this track is so high speed, you need that rotation through the corner, so the downforce on the rear is not always as consistent or as much as you would maybe like going through those fast bends. So that's why it's very easy to lose that back end of the car and spin out. So staying on top of the in-car adjustment with the roll bars is going to be very important. As we are gridding up now for the Vopsy.com Grand Prix on Watkins Glen. And just want to correct myself, it's a 52 lap race, not 58. It helps if your commentator knows the facts for the race, but before we go green, let's quickly go over the qualifying results one more time. So it's Will Lyon, sorry, not Will Lyon, I'm so used to saying that now. Daniel Ditz on the pole in front of Will Lyon for SMS Racing. It's a 1-2-3 with Matthew Levine on the 3rd position, Sam Blackwood in 4th, and Jorfi 5th. Callum Croxton rounds off row 3 on the outside there in P6. Then we got Jesper Orman, Erke Lindstrom and Conny Naslund all running for Indy Alliance Racing. Then we got Sam Moyle and Sebastian Kinder who round off the grid in 10th and 11th. So short pace lap here at Watkins Glen, so we should be going green very quickly as the Porsche pace car pulls off here with the field just behind. As I mentioned, just 11 cars with us, many drivers with other commitments, and also some other real life racing events happening for Shane Burke, for example. Also for Sharon van der Sloot, by the way. Mike Montana says he lost a loved one this week, so yeah, stay strong, buddy, and hopefully we can see you back next week or whatever you are ready. Of course, he won last week, so from a high to a low in very quick succession. But anyway, going to the race now itself, face cars off. SMS Racing on the front, 3 positions. The green flag is out and we are racing for the Vopsy.com Grand Prix on Watkins Glen. As the teammates go side by side again through turn 1, they've made contact before, if you remember Red Barber. But so far the field going cleanly through turns 1 and 2 up the hill. Sam Blackwood takes over P3 from Matthew Levine. As we are well and truly underway here at Watkins Glen. Drivers already breaking that toe, and look how big of a run Sam Blackwood got down the straight. On the outside of Will Lyon through turn 5. And he moves into P2. He's got the inside for turn 6 now. There you go. Completes the pass. Actually doesn't do that just yet. Will Lyon gonna come back on the outside line now though, which will become the inside for the boot. Throws his car on the inside. Sam Blackwood has to turn away to give a little bit of space. And Will Lyon goes back to P2. But these two still going side by side for P2, that is. Great battle. as everybody else behind has gone single file already. We're gonna squeeze Sam to the edge of the track, but Sam once again on the inside now, gonna go late on the brakes. And these drivers still going side by side, and now they're sorting themselves out. So that allowed Daniel Dinsdale to pull away to 1.2 seconds, just about, as we complete lap number 1 with Daniel Dinsdale front pole still in the lead, followed by Will Lyon and Sam Blackwood, who've been battling all over lap 1. Then we've got Matthew Levine down a position into 4th, and Anna Jorvie still in 5th. Hanging on to the back end of Matthew Levine, very nicely indeed. But that's mainly down to Anna being on the reds, of course, with Matthew being on the blacks. As we go up the hill again. Got Sam Moylan push to pass, already down to 8 pushes of push to pass left. As Will Lyon has been overtaken by Sam Blackwood, as he's going to have a look back on the inside here. They've done this the previous lap as well, as Sam goes very wide and loses the position again to Will. Alright, let's have a quick look at the battle then. Going into turn 5. There it is, Sam on the inside goes a little bit later on the brakes and gets the move done there, but as we all saw, got overtaken back here on the inside by Will Lyon not too long after that. And now Will Lyon is starting to pull away from Sam and close in on teammate Daniel Dinsdale. Those two both running on the primary tires, the two SMS Racing teammates, as Will Lyon with the fastest lap of the race by about 0.3 of a second. And that gap went from 1.2 to 0.9 very quickly. So Will show very strong pace early on. As we have the two Indy Alliance cars of Lindstrom and Orman running very closely together as well. Orman closing up to the back of Urka, but I don't think we will see any moves just yet. As we have Connie Naslund also just behind, going a little bit wide through turn 5, and Connie has got Seb right behind him, Seb Kinder, and he finished in the top 5 last week at California, so on the back of a strong result, gonna try to look for another one here tonight. Also got Callum Croxon in 11th, by the way, not too far behind Seb Kinder. So this is a very nice 5-car group of cars. I wouldn't call it a trend just yet, even though they are running single file, but they're not running very closely together. Of course, with all these high speeds, dirty air is playing a bit of a factor too. As we will go back to the front. Oh, we have a nice little battle going on between Seb Kinder and Connie Naslund, that is. And Seb got by Connie there on the run up the hill. I was watching the leader, so I missed that pass. Let's go back. I'm trying my best to not be like the Jeddah F1 race directing, but Seb on the inside into turn 5, pulls off the pass very nice and easily. on both with Anna Jorfi on the red still. Red on the back of Matthew Levine, no push to pass yet for Anna, so going into turn 5 I don't think she will be able to make a move. Oh, Matthew running over a little bit wide though, which allows Anna to close up a little bit more. Through turn 6 now. Anna might be able to launch a dive up the inside of turn 7 here. Actually, she didn't really get the exit she needed, so never mind that. But I do think Anna at the moment is a little bit quicker than Matthew, but that's not going to last for too long. Because remember what I said about the Reds, they do go very quickly here around this place. Especially in the heat that we do have. It's 47-degree track temperature at the moment. So the Reds will be falling away in a few laps. But Will Lyon and Sam Blackwood were able to battle through lap 1. But at the moment it's Sam who's dropped 0.8 of a second to Will Lyon. And right as I say that, Will Lyon's gone into the pits to get rid of his Reds. So that's why he closed up to the back end of his teammates so quickly. I thought Will was on the blacks as well, but he is not. In fact, Dinsdale and Blackwood are on the Reds as well, so got a little bit confused there, but Will stops in his box and goes to the primary tires now to run the rest of the race on, probably, because the Reds are going off so quickly. It's been just 6 laps, so the Reds clearly falling off for Will. As Dinsdale slowly but surely pulls away from Blackwood, who sits in second. And he's also got around a second lead on Matthew Levine. Well, I'll say a gap to Matthew Levine, I should say, because Sam is not leading. So whilst Will Lyon was in the pits, we got a pass from Callum Croxon on Connie Naslund here in the turn 5 as well. On the inside, and really pulls the same move that we saw earlier. By Seb Kinder, I believe that was. But going back live, Daniel Dinsdale, Sam Blackwood and Anna Jorfi, all 3 of these drivers into the pits. Getting rid of those Reds. Blacks going on for Blackwood and Dinsdale and also for Jorfi. Actually, that's not correct. Reds going on Jorfi's car again, which is a surprise to see. Just 6 laps into this stint and then to put on another set of those Reds is a little bit weird. But expecting Anna to pit at the end of lap 14 again then. But Will Lyon with a very nice undercut on Daniel Dinsdale pulls in front of Daniel on pit cycles. So into the net race lead, Will Lyon goes. Championship leader as well by 55 points over Daniel Dinsdale. So this is not what Daniel wants to see. Of course, you get 50 points for winning the race, not including all the bonus points you can get. So minimizing those bonus points and winning the race, of course, for Daniel Dinsdale should be his top priority if he wants to have any shot in the championship, with 2 races to go after this one. Got Samuel also in the pits. Up the jacks from the Reds to the Blacks as well, and off and away. Look at that backhand step out on Callum Croxus there through turn 8. Through turn 9, sorry. Great shots here at Watkins Glen. Of course, this is a new scan. We ran here last season as well, which was actually the first race I broadcasted for the PMRL. But since then, the drivers really have a lot more track time, so getting more on the limit with this new scan. But it still looks just as beautiful and great to watch as it did when it came out. It's just so refreshing. Of course, we were all used to the old scan of Watkins Glen of like 2006, 2007 it was. I don't know. Actually 2008 or 2009 probably, because iRacing wasn't around in 2007 yet. But you get what I'm saying. The scan was really old, and then to have the new scan is just great. Just looks 100,000 times better than the previous one. And the racing certainly hasn't gone downhill as well. It's actually gone uphill with the new surface on the track, providing a little bit more grip. But Seb Kinder running side by side with Callum Croxton here through the boot section, and then now going into turn 9. Seb on the inside now for turn 10. Should have the optimum line, and actually Callum has. Pulls by with the momentum of the corner, gets the position. Moves up into 4th position. Seb dropping to 5th, and then Connie Naslund right behind as well. Gonna try to have a look at Seb Kinder's position to try and take that away. These drivers are all running on the primary blacks, so going as long as possible on the fuel, I would imagine. About 18 laps is what I'm expecting. As Jesper Orman's gone by, Erke Lindström might have been a little bit of a team order there. Seb Kinder has a look around the outside of Callum Croxton, but unable to do anything here just yet. Actually gets a great exit off of turn 5 though, into turn 6. Crossover move into turn 7, not close enough. Through the boot. Now down into the heel, turn 8 as Seb slows on the apex there. Not really sure why, but Jesper Orman, I do believe, ran into the back of Seb. Maybe I can find a replay from that real quick in slow-mo. That was Connie Naslund, sorry. So going into turn 8, Seb goes on the brakes like normal, but I think he went in a little bit wide. I think he tried to correct his line there, so slowed up a little bit more. And Connie did tap his gearbox, but I don't believe there is any damage to Connie Naslund's car. I'm struggling with the camera controls here, I apologize. Trying to get them to work. I have to say, despite the lower car count, I really am enjoying this race. I don't know about you guys, but it's fantastic to watch. All these cars just battling and being so closely together for the first 11 laps of this race. We've already seen a few stops, by the way, so that's the good thing as well. The action just keeps going, which is nice to see. So 11 laps completed, working on lap number 12. Coming up on the first quarter of the race being complete. As we got Connie Nazin all over Seb Kinder. Up the hill, Seb leaving plenty of room for Connie to go by. Into P5 that is. Quickly had to check on the timing tower because these people didn't pit yet. That's why I was confused. So the more these people are battling, the more time they will lose to the likes of Blackwood and Jorvie. What a start from Samuel, future champion right there, Devin Clark says. Definitely. I don't know why Sam's not up in the points lead by 50 points like Will Lyon is right now. Probably the admin's just helping the competition out because they can't stand that Sam is just so good. I think that's why. I think they just took away 100 horsepower from Sam. No, I'm just kidding. So Daniel Din still started from pole. Will Lyon, his teammate, is now in front of Daniel through the pit cycles as Will's trying to break the draft from his teammate, but Din still was leading until those pit cycles where Will did an overcut and took the lead that way. Of course, Will also battled with Sam Blackwood on the opening lap, which was very entertaining to watch, which will definitely make the highlight video whenever it goes up. Hopefully not too long from now. We'll have the other highlights going up as well sooner than what it's been going out lately. Of course, it's been a while since I did those for the league, but I really need to pick those back up again because I'm kind of behind on them, so I apologize for that, but trying to get the highlights out as quickly as possible. Of course, it's understandable that sometimes people don't want to watch a 2-hour broadcast to see what happens, so about a 7-minute video is a little bit better for that, isn't it? So I'm gonna work on that and get them out as soon as possible, like I said, and for you guys, you can enjoy those. 50 laps into this race though, out of 52, approaching the first round of stops for the people that started the race on the primary black tires. Matthew Levine got a 4.4 second lead over Jasper Orman and a 4.9 second lead over Eric Lindstrom. So I don't think Matthew is going to be under threat from the Indy Alliance racing team, but Matthew has been losing time compared to Will Lyon and Daniel Linsdale, his teammates. So I think Matthew's going to rejoin like 5-6 seconds behind, which might be P4 when everybody else pits, because remember Sam Blackwood is also in the mix as well. even though he is about 5 seconds back from Will Lyon and Daniel Dinsdale. Looking from the back of Will Lyon, entering this race with a 55-point lead, might leave Watkins Glen with, as it stands, about a 59-point lead going into the final 2 races. Of course, remember 50 points on offer for a race win, so if you can go into that final round with a buffer of over 50 points, then you're pretty much guaranteed the championship, minus the bonus points, and of course also attendance playing a little bit of a factor in that, but that's just something that remains to be seen going into the final 2 races, as we have Callum Croxton in the pits in his Apple TV 4K car, leaving the pits on the blacks. And all 11 cars that started the race still in competition, and all on the lead lap as well. So great showing by the drivers tonight so far, as we are about 10 laps away from the halfway point in this race. And that's also a possibility, Devon, that Sam is just sandbagging by about 3 seconds a lap to give everyone else a chance. I mean, it sounds kind of it sounds legit, so it has to be true, yes. So there we go, 16 laps complete, and then we got Matthew Levine, Erke Lindstrom and Jasper Orman all in the pits, and actually Seb Kinder also in as well. So the top 4 in. Connie Naslund stays out another lap. Will Lyon takes over the race lead again, as all these people going to another set of blacks, I would imagine. And in fact all of them do. And Erke Lindstrom is gonna jump, actually just about didn't jump Jasper Orman there out of the pits. Those two running together all race long so far. Probably content with just taking home a few good points, which you do get by just 11 cars racing. Seems to be a little bit of a trend with not just this league but also many other leagues over in the IndyCar community. Just everything really just, I wouldn't say dying out, but it's getting a little bit less active, let's say. Not really sure what it is, to be fair. It might be due to everything opening again after COVID, or maybe just the car getting boring. But if you do enjoy racing these cars, and if you have Wednesday nights free, join the league. It's a great bunch of people to race against, and of course for me to broadcast on this season. So yeah, if you want to get involved, definitely do so. It's a recommendation from me. It's very competitive league as well to race in, despite at the moment in low car count you could already see the battling going on. It's very hard, clean racing, so if you want to be a part of it, get involved. A Discord link is in the description, and you can also follow PMRL on Twitter for more updates. Over on the league side of things, we do have some announcements to make soon over season 4, I do believe, so stay tuned for that news. As Jasper Orman gets by Sam Moyle there, just in the bottom of the screen. Jasper getting by on the straight there. Not too much of a fight being put up by Sam. Of course, still early on in the race. And also with the straight line speed with the draft, it's a little bit tricky to defend sometimes. So just not worth the risk early on. Of course, there is still, what is it, 24 laps to go. So no need to really find anything just yet. Lindstrom on the push to pass down the back straight into turn 5. Gonna try and attack Samuel into turn 5. Downhill here, but Urka just about not close enough to really make a move here just yet. Into turn 6, gonna have a look, not much more than that. Gonna try and set Sam up for turn 8. Don't think Urka is close enough to do anything here, so gonna have to stick behind for a little bit longer. Does get a great run through turn... Yeah, turn 9 here. Yeah, turn 9 is here, so that was turn 8, sorry. So through turns 10 and 11 here. Urka dropping back a little bit again, as I'm losing my corner names and numbers and whatever. The track is going so fast I can barely keep up with the corners anymore, but 32 laps to go. Quick update on push to pass. Will Lyons got 10 left. He likes saving those out for the remainder of the race to use them in the final stint, for example, when he's trying to go for fast lap or something. But Daniel Dinsdale and Sam Blackwood both down to 8 pushes left. Then we got 10 for Levine and Jorfi. Jesper Ormond's got 5 left, and he actually just used one again. 8 pushes for Sam Moyle. Urka Lindstrom got 5 left as well. Then we got 10 for Callum Croxton, and Connie Naslim's got 8 left, and then 9 for Seb Kinder. Connie Naslin getting by Seb Kinder just a moment ago as well, on the inside for the back straight into turn 5. And already pulls by way before they get to the corner. So easy move by Connie. As Will Lyons back in the pits on lap 21 of 52. Of course, he was the one that pitted first at the end of lap 6. So 15 laps since his last stop. With 31 laps to go, I think he will make it 2 more stops from here. Goes to the blacks again, and I would imagine going to the blacks again for the final stint. But that's all for later on. Will Lyon off and away again with fresh Firestones and Speedway fuel in the car. Daniel Dinsdale back into the race lead now then. 7.5 seconds clear of Sam Blackwood, who sits in second. Then 11 seconds to the race leader is Matthew Levine. As we bring up the track map here as well. So let's get our corner number straight here then. So Daniel Dinsdale going through turn 1 here. Going up to turn 2, entering the S's. Turn 3 here. Then up to turn 4, which goes to the right onto the back straight. There we go. Down the back straight we go without the chicane, like we are used to seeing. Into turn 5, downhill, down into 4th gear. Into turn 6 as we enter the boot section of the track. Down the chute into turn 6 that was, into turn 7. The boots. And into turn 8 the heel we go. This is also downhill braking again. Down to 2nd gear. Into turn 9, which is off camera actually, so very difficult to get the power down. Then the final 2 corners, turns 10 and 11. Again, flat out through here, the left-hander, turn 10. And the right-hander to close off the lap. So there we go, those are all the corner numbers as Daniel Dinsdale goes into the pits. Follows his teammate in a lap later. And you can see the one-off-wheel line going through turn 8 now, into turn 9. So let's see where Daniel rejoins the track. If it's behind or in front of Will. Of course, Daniel's got the first box in line as well, so he should have a clear pit out. Will line across start finish. And I do think Will will be able to go by Daniel comfortably. Yes, he does. Already through turn 1. There he is. So Will, with the undercut, not getting as much as he did before on the previous stop. So the gap is now down to a little bit over 4/10 of a second, which is down from 9/10. So Will losing about half a second through the pit cycle, which will now leave Matthew Levine out in front in the lead, 4.2 seconds clear of Jesper Orman. Gaps at the moment pretty big. I don't think we will see anything between the two SMS teammates. So let's very quickly go over the final 2 races of the season after this one in the schedule. Pocono Raceway coming up next week, 100 laps, 250 miles, the third and final leg of the Triple Crown here in PMRL for season 3. Also the 4th oval of the season. Then we go to Laguna Seca on the 13th of April to cap off the season with 65 laps around the legendary track. And of course also Vopsy lowercase iRacing on Instagram. Phil Wallen does these iRacing paints for not just Indycar but also many other cars. So check it out on Instagram, and you can contact her over there and sort everything out there. Vopsy lowercase iRacing is Vilda's Instagram handle. So as I said, check it out, great paints, and the last one on the slideshow there, by the way, is one of my favorites. So here we go, Daniel Dinsdale with a huge run up the hill, as I think they just made contact there. Daniel getting into the back of Will Lyon, but on the push to pass he is. Down the back straight, gonna pop out of the draft here on the inside of turn 5, pull to the inside, and I think this will be an easy move, but actually right as I say that, Will is gonna challenge this around the outside, so still running side by side, as Will's got the inside for the next corner. Daniel gonna hold it around the outside like Sam Blackwood did on lap 1, as we're going side by side now into turn 7. And Daniel's got the inside now, so he will pull clear. And the next corner is also going to be to the right, so this will also be an advantage for Daniel Dinsdale. As this almost looks like a pace lap at, what is it, 160 miles per hour. Still going side by side, Will on the inside for turn 9. Off camber corner here, Daniel going to try to do the cutback. Get a good run out of turn 9 here through turn 10. But I do think will be able to hold on for a little bit longer. And yes, he will. Onto the front straight again. Daniel just as close as he was the last time. This time lifting off just a little bit. Already pulling alongside to the outside this time though. Let's see if he can pull it off this time, and I was going to say Will might be lifting off here, but he is clearly not, as these two are still battling for position. We saw these two race each other in the past, not always going as well as a few other races where it did go well, but most notably in Barber, at the start of the race mind you, they crashed and took each other out of contention. At least early on, Will was actually able to claw back to the win. But for Daniel, it was day done basically. In terms of being able to win the race. I do think he came back to 7th or 8th. But the car for Daniel wasn't the same after that incident. On that opening lap. As we are halfway into this race, by the way. Lap 27 of 52. Here comes Daniel Dinsdale again. Will closing off the inside line through turn 4. And again Will defending that inside line like his life depends on it, which, I mean, in the virtual iRacing world it does. But Daniel Dinsdale around the outside now through turn 5. Pulls clear on the inside for turn 6, and I do believe Will complete the pass. Now he's just going to take the racing line and defend the inside, and yes he does. So Daniel Dinsdale into the provisional race lead once everybody else pits. Very nice move there by Daniel. Here he is on board. Just completely committed to the corner here on the outside line, and makes full use of that curb on the exit, by the way, to make the track as wide as possible. And like we saw, completed the pass to take over that position. Will Lyon though gonna look to come back. Having a look on the inside for turn 1, which is not the place you want to do it. If you do, you can be swallowed up on the run up to turn 5 again. So Will now to the inside again. Still not using push to pass though, surprisingly enough. As Will completes the pass on the inside again to retake that position. So those two teammates swapping positions basically every lap now. At least at some point. As Anna Jorvie and Sam Boyle have gone down a lap. but that's because they haven't pitted yet. Sorry, because the leaders haven't pitted yet, so don't be too alarmed just yet. Let's have a quick look at the top speed down the straight into turn 5 for Will Lyon and Daniel Dins. They're pretty much equal. 302 for Will and 300, well, it was 301 for Daniel down the straight there on the back straight, but across the line it was 306 for Will, 312 for Daniel. Of course, Daniel's in the draft as well. Double draft basically for Sepp Kinder in front too. And down from the start, Will down 4, Daniel down 6. As Daniel pulls to the outside line now, gonna box him in. 3 wide as Sepp Kinder is being forced on the grass, keeps his car pointing in the right direction. But the two teammates going wheel to wheel through turn 5 again. Daniel Dins on the outside line. Gonna stick his nose in there for turn 6. And keep his nose in there as Will Lyon goes offline. Doesn't get a good exit through turn 6 into turn 7. Now he's got the position sealed again, at least for now, as, ooh, that's an aggressive cut to the inside for Will. These two teammates definitely going for it, and it's great to watch for us, but I think for the team, it might be a little bit scary. Of course, the big man on the nose of those cars might not be too happy about that either, but that's all for off-track for them to worry about. At the moment, it's an on-track battle between those two drivers, and Will trying to break that draft. Daniel trying to have a look down the inside for turn 1 there. These two barely leaving an inch for each other, which is great to see. As Dinsdale once again to the outside line now. Gets through the corner nicely, takes a nice amount of speed again on the outside line. Now he edges ahead into turn 6. Gotta squeeze Will out to the exit curb here, which he actually doesn't do, so Will going back to the inside once again, and it's getting really repetitive, but it's great to watch still, because every lap these two are going side by side on the back straight. As again, they go through turn 8 and 9 side by side, but I want to try and grab a replay from 2 laps ago with Sepp Kinder. I don't know why I'm getting my names confused between those two, but oh well. I think it was this one here. also a little bit before. Nope. Trying to find here where it happened. Was a lap before. Okay, cool. Here it is. I think Seb tried to get out of the action between the two teammates, but he actually didn't realize, in looking at the battle between these two, that he was already on the edge to the grass. So I think that's what happened to Seb. He just tried to leave space for those two, but he didn't have any left to give. So a little bit funny there, but thankfully Seb didn't have any issues and kept going. Rejoining the live action a lap later. Will Lyon still in front of Dinsdale. Remember, it's not just the battle for the race win eventually, but also the championship lead, which Daniel's trying to take away a few points in from Will Lyon. So 20 laps to go as Jesper Orman and Matthew Levine pit, with Seb Kinder as well going in. We'll go to those people in just a minute as we go up the hill again. So Daniel Dinsdale, attempt number, well, I think it's about 9 or 10 at this point. To the inside for turn 5. No push to pass. Will committing to that outside line as Daniel drifts up just a little bit, has to get out of the throttle. Will go defensive for turn 6. Covering off that move by Dinsdale that he tried to pull there. And Will Lyon even running off track in that battle with Dinsdale. So we are approaching the edge of the final fuel stint. And I wonder if battling has caused these two drivers to kind of stop paying attention to the fuel, because I do know that it's very tough to make 18 laps of fuel work. So if you kind of think logically with strategy, as we once again see the two teammates going side by side, if you kind of think logically, you do 17 plus 17 is 34, then plus 17 again is 51. Of course it doesn't work, so you need to do at least one 18 lap fuel stint, which I don't think we've actually seen anybody do so far today. So that's going to be a very key point and a very key topic as well for the final few laps of this race, to see who can make it and who cannot. And this race might be coming down to a scenario of who can make the least stops is going to win the race. So just Connie Nassau yet to pit, and actually right as I say that, Connie goes in, which will give Will Lyon the race lead back, and then Dinsdale back into second. Now I do think with all the racing that's been going on, I think Will Lyon's actually led the most laps so far tonight. So as it stands, Will Lyon will extend his championship lead over Daniel Dinsdale by 16 points, with all the bonus points involved as well. So that will be a 66 point lead over, I said it wrong, 71 point lead over Daniel Dinsdale, if my math are correct. Side by side again. Like we've seen so many times already in this race. Daniel Dinsdale on the inside again this time though. As Will once again holds the outside line strongly. As he's got the inside line to stay ahead and keep the race lead for now. So Will Lyon in the pits, as you can see. For his final stop of the day, car goes up the jacks from the blacks to, I would imagine, another set of the blacks like I mentioned at the last stop he did. And yes it is, another set of the Firestone primary black tires. And he once again pits a few laps earlier than Daniel Dinsdale will probably do. I think Daniel will actually follow him in this lap to just cover off that undercut from Will. And luckily for Daniel, Will's got Naslim just in front. So maybe Connie will actually hold up Will as he shows himself in the mirror. Goes for the inside line. Connie just sees him go for that move and just leaves him in the space as well. Will wasting no time to get that move done and into P6 now. He knows it's crucial to not lose any time compared to his teammate Daniel Dinsdale, which he just did perfectly right there. Just showed himself in the mirrors to make Connie aware that Will was there, and then showed himself for real on the inside line there because Connie left the door open and took that position right away from him. So now Daniel Dinsdale going through the final corner. Actually, he's already gone way past that. I was watching the 7 car. I don't know why I got that confused, but the 7 is Jesper Orman. Daniel Dinsdale staying out for another lap here, which might be crucial for his race, as Sam Blackwood also makes his final stop from P5. Highest top speed in the race, by the way, just for fun facts. Matthew Levine, 312 kilometers per hour down the straight into turn 5. And here we go, Daniel Dinsdale goes into the pits 2 laps later than Will Lyon did. So Daniel Dinsdale 100% good to go and able to go flat out to the end as well. Will Lyon going through turn 8 now, into turn 9. Did start to gain a little bit of time there on that second lap out of the pits. So let's see how close Daniel and Will are going to be. The two teammates and, well, I guess you could say championship rivals as well. Will Lyon pass start finish, cross the start finish straight into turn 1. Car down the jacks for Daniel Dinsdale. Will Lyon goes past into turn 1. As Daniel Dinsdale very risky with the yellow line on the pit exit there. I hope for him he didn't cross it. But rejoins right in the battle again with 2 lap fresher tires and also the fuel to go with it. Will has to save a little bit of fuel, I do think. As Daniel to the inside line. On cool tires, remember, he has to lift off a little bit more than Will. And Will around the outside holds on to the position. As I'm starting to feel my voice go a little bit there. Daniel around the outside here, I don't think he can pull that off, and he can't indeed. Gonna do a very nice crossover though. Into turn 8 downhill. Will he send it? No, he does not. He just keeps it nice and easy here for now. As he will hold the outside line. Oh, this is great. Through turn 10. This is surely not going to go well. Side by side through turn 10. One has to go off the track. That's Daniel Dinsdale, and Will Lyon holds on to the position. Oh man, this is amazing. 13 laps to go, and this is a epic fight for the race win. Here we go, Daniel once again to the inside line. It just seems like if you make the move and your pace is so closely matched, like these two people, Will and Daniel, have been all race long, it's just impossible to put away because the straights are so long and the corners are so fast. There's very little area to really try and improve and go faster than the other competitor of yours to really pull away and make a gap. So I think that's what's happening here. The straights are just too long, and none of these two drivers were able to pull away as they continue to go side by side again. Eleven laps to go. Next time by. Of course, Matthew Levine's already going into turn 5 now. About half a lap in front of these two. Of course, Matthew is still yet to pit, I do believe. I'm pretty sure he does have to pit again. Yes, he does. Daniel going for the outside pass this time, trying to make that work, and doesn't. Didn't get the momentum of the corner that he needed. And these two drivers, the closest and only battle going on at the moment, so we'll stick with these guys for now. At this point, I don't think I'll have any voice left for interviews. Gonna try my best though. Here we go again. Nice run for Dinsdale on the the outside line, sorry. Gets some very nice momentum off of turn 5 on the inside of turn 6. Pulls ahead again, but Will still on the outside line. And they will once again go side by side into the boot section. I don't know how these guys are doing it this long. Definitely shows the respect that these two people have for each other, though. Of course, it wasn't always shown. Barber. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do you guys like that. But side by side through turn 10, as Will Lyon and Daniel go very slowly through turn 11 here, which allows Sam Moyle, I think that is, who set up down to catch up to this fight, and also for Connie Naslund and Sam Blackwood, who are also very closely together to close up to this battle. So this might be a four-way fight for the win with about 5 laps to go if it keeps going like this. Got Jasper Orman in the pits for his final stop of the day. Oh, as Will gets really close, Daniel gets really close to the outside wall of turn 11, the final corner, onto the front straight. Got 9 laps to go. And Matthew Levine last pitted at the end of lap 32, and he is still going. Matthew pitted 10 laps ago. Hang on. This Matthew trying to go to the end from here, which, if that's the case, Matthew Levine might be having the winning strategy. We got Erke Lindstrom in second. He pitted a lap earlier than Matthew Levine, so if we have any indication of Matthew's fuel levels, it's gotta be when Erke pits. If at all. If not, I think Matthew Levine and Erke Lindstrom could be the 1-2 finishers in this race, and Dinsdale and Lyon finishing in 3rd and 4th if it keeps going like this, because they keep battling this much. If they keep battling this much, the drivers behind will also catch up, and they won't be able to focus forward anymore. So, very interesting all the strategies happening right now. Of course, Will and Daniel are on that 3-stopper, I do believe. Daniel is as well. I know for sure that Will is. Here we go, Erke Lindstrom in the pit with 7 laps to go. So Erke not able to make it to the end, and I don't think, if Erke couldn't, then I don't think Matthew was able to do it. But we'll have to wait and see. Maybe he will be able to make it. He's been saving fuel that we didn't see. So I'm curious to see that, but Matthew going through the boot now. Still about half a lap clear of his teammates. Actually a quarter of a lap, make that. As Urka goes to the reds, gonna try and maybe go for the fastest lap now. Which at this point you might as well also do that. 7 pushes of push to pass left for Urka, so he can do it. Just use push to pass on every corner exit. Get that horsepower boost down the straights. And use the reds in the corners to go very fast. Here we go, Matthew Levine's gone into the pits. There he is, out on track again. And just as we covered Levine's pit stop, of course, every time that I look at one other driver, there's a pass for position. So Will Lyon getting by Daniel Dinsdale for the race lead here. On the back straight on the run down to turn 5. And wouldn't surprise me if Will used a push to pass to make that move. And yes, he did. Very easily pulled by into that race lead. And now he's going to try to keep it, as in the meantime, Urka Lindstrom did indeed set the fastest lap time of the race, 1:26.68. Great lap time, by the way, which is about 3/10 quicker than the previous fastest race lap by Will Lyon. So great speed in that number 98 for Indy Alliance Racing. For Urka Lindstrom, of course. As we have 4 laps to go in the Vopsy.com Grand Prix on Watkins Glen. Of course, as always, check it out, Vopsy_iRacing on Instagram for iRacing paints. Vilda does a great job with them, so check it out, of course. As we have once again got a battle for the race lead on the run down to turn 5. Daniel defending that inside line. Will on the outside, pulling by again. For the, well, not pulling by just yet, got the inside for turn 6. Now Daniel's got the inside line for turn 7. Will out wide, Daniel with a better line. But Will, with the momentum off the corner, and there we go, Will back to the race lead. Daniel gonna look for the inside line there in turn 8. But just wasn't close enough, and he thought better of it luckily, or that could have ended up in tears again. Like at Barber. Matthew Levine now with the fastest lap of the race. Matthew Levine, 125.85 last lap for the leaders. Will Lyon and Daniel Dinsdale, 128.04 for Will and 1.8 for Dinsdale. This race is not over yet. We might see Matthew Levine on red tires close the gap, and he might win the race by passing those two leaders, because they've been either battling so much and or maybe have saved some fuel as well. So Will Lyon and Daniel Dinsdale not at all guaranteed a 1-2 finish. It will be a 1-2 finish for SMS regardless, but it will be in a different order maybe, as Matthew Levine continues to close the gap, not by as much as he needs to do it this time around though. 3.8 seconds is the gap, as it's actually going up again now, so I think the two leaders got the wake-up call to go. 127.3 for both of them again that last lap. 126.5 for Matthew Levine, so 0.8 of a second is now the difference, which is down significantly from the last lap. But that was incredible. 3 seconds almost in one lap. That's insane. Of course, last week's race was won by Sheriff on the Sloat, but the other two road courses, the previous two road courses I should say, were won by Daniel Dinsdale. Will Lyon hasn't won a race since, and I've got to check, Nürburgring about a month and a half ago. So for Will, this would be his first in a month and a half, and for Daniel Dinsdale, this would be his third straight road course win of the season, if he can get it, of course. Coming through the final corner, got Anna Jorvia left car in front. White flag is out. Final lap here at Watkins Glen. Daniel Dinsdale trying to go for the win here, but I just don't think it's going to happen. Just a little bit too far back. Gets a great run through turn 1 actually though. Closes the gap. Gets a good run through turn 2 as well now up the hill. Surely he's going to be using push to pass, and he is, but Will Lyon's also using it on the run down to turn 5 here. Closing the gap to about 3.5 of a second, but I just don't think it's going to be enough. With Anna Jorvia in front as well, giving the draft to Will Lyon. Oh, as Daniel gets so close to the gearbox of Will. Down the chute into the boot for the final time. This race, as Daniel Dinsdale overdrives the car, spins out, actually hits the wall, and his race is done. Oh, heartbreak for Daniel Dinsdale. His left side of the car is completely destroyed as Matthew Levine moves up into second place. Sam Blackwood is into third position. Just keep the car on the track, my guy, and the podium is yours. It might be his first podium in the series, finally, but he's just got a few more corners to go. So does Will Lyon. 2 more corners to go, and this is the second season in a row where we see somebody spin on the final lap, chasing down the race win. We saw it with Hugo Olsen last season, and now with Daniel Dinsdale. But Will Lyon out of the final corner for the first time since Nürburgring goes to victory lane after a brilliant battle with his teammate Daniel Dinsdale. Sam Blackwood actually moves into second position and he gets his first podium in the Prime Meridian Racing League. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm saying this. But Matthew Levine drives across the line with 3 wheels on the car as well. Connie Nassen comes home in P4 with Eric Lindstrom actually going by as well as Connie runs out of fuel across the line. Seb Kinder limping his car around to finish in 6th place, with Anna Jorfi finishing a lap down in 7th, Jesper Orman a lap down in 8th, and Sam Mullen in 9th. But Daniel Dinsdale drops down all the way from 2nd to 10th, but Sam Blackwood finally has a podium. Oh my goodness, what a race at the end there especially. Holy poop. I was about to use a bad word there, but my goodness, what a race. What a finish. As we see Will Lyon in the bottom of the screen do donuts here to celebrate his win. Oh, my voice. Excuse me. I need a drink, but first we've got interviews to do, so... Huh. I don't know, but I think Sam Blackwood's gonna be so happy with this. Huh. Alright, well, let's go to the thumbnail, close iRacing, and get ready for the interviews, because honestly, going into this race, and I'm gonna be honest here, I didn't look forward to the interviews, but I am now. Holy sweet Jesus, what a race. Alright, we got Sam in the broadcast room. Hello Sam, well, first podium finally in the race. You named the numbers. How long did it take you to get it?
28 races.
28 races over, what is it, 3 seasons you've raced here, or 2? So,
3 seasons.
Yeah, all 3 of them. So finally you got your first podium. For the most part of the race, you were kind of in no man's land. You did battle Will on the opening lap, but since then not much really happened until the final few laps. Just talk me through the first lap and then also the final laps when everything kind of kicked off there for you and everybody else.
Well, still trying to process what actually happened on that last lap there. That felt staged, or you know, I'll let the viewers decide what that felt like from their point of view. But lap 1, yeah, Abu Dhabi-esque. Lap 1 was, I was planning on using my push to pass and sort of being a little thorn in the side of the SMS guys. I was hoping to try and get Will on lap 1, but it was good enough fighting for me, so I thought I'd just sit back. And then over the course of the next couple of stints, I was like maybe losing a couple of tenths here and there. At one point, I even put in the chat like congratulating Matt on P3 because I knew he was just going to get me on the last stint. And I've just been made to eat those words, I suppose. I seen debris down at the entrance to the tow, and then I seen Dinsdale pull off. So, oh, okay, well, don't join him. There's still 5 corners to go. And then I see a confetti of SMS over in the second last turn. Like, okay, that's... Was that P2? Yeah, P2. Holy shit, that's P2. Sorry about the language.
It's fine. We Europeans, we can say these things. Americans can't.
True. Right, that's probably going to take the rest of the night to try and process what happened. So I'll pass it on to the other guys now. I'm probably going to get a shot of whiskey, actually.
I was just going to say that you should just grab something to drink and then just enjoy the rest of the night and just don't do anything else until next week and start racing again.
The nightmare is over. I can now sleep easy.
Exactly. Well, first podium is in the books for you. What's next? Soon? A race win?
8.3 seconds off a win. I mean, anything can happen at Pocono, and Laguna Seca's a crapshoot, so who knows?
Exactly. So, well, maybe actually at Pocono, it might be a pack with the cool conditions that PMRL likes to use on oval. So, you know, just squeeze everybody into the wall and blame it on netcode. That's just the easy way to go.
That's what happened the first 2 times we went there. What happened to me? So maybe 3rd time's the charm.
Exactly. Well, anyway, guys, let's celebrate your first podium in the league, and we'll see you next week at Pocono.
Thank you.
All right. Quickly gonna move over to Daniel, who had an incident on the final lap. You were running in P2, battling Will all race long. Just quickly talk me through your battle with him.
Yeah, it was really, that's probably the most fun race I've had, maybe, on iRacing. Or at least, I don't know, I don't really care that I crashed, although I did swear a lot at the end of the race. But yeah, it was just so good. I think me and Will were just really tight, like really closely matched, really tight on pace, and the nature of the track just allowed so much side-by-side racing. And I think we both raced each other enough through the series in the last year at least. Well, last season at least. And yeah, it was just fantastic. I felt like there was no point where I think either of us was particularly overly aggressive or anything. It's just a shame that the last lap kind of ended badly, which was completely my own fault. I knew my only chance was to just stick right on his tail and try and send it on a future corner. So I just stayed on the throttle on the grass, and it didn't work out. But at the end of the day, yeah, it's annoying, but it was a good race. I'm just glad I had it. And yeah, it's just a shame with Matt as well on the final corner. We didn't get an SMS 123, but Sam drove a really good race like the whole time. He kept me and Will honest, and there was a lot of chat on keeping an eye on Sam, and his pace was very similar to ours. I think there's just maybe a few bits in the pit stop where we pulled away, but yeah, he did a really, really good race, and yeah, glad he's got a podium finally.
Yeah, for you it's just a shame as well, because you were how far back were you actually entering this race? I think it was 55 points on Will going into this race, so it's really not anything that you needed, that crash on the final lap. So Will actually pulls away from you in the standings as well, but oh well, I guess there's always next season, right?
Yeah, I'm not too bothered. I think Will's got it in the bag. Will's just too consistent to gain that many points on, I think. So.
Well, don't downplay yourself that bad, man. You can get it. You have the talent to do it. So, hopefully next season for you can make a challenge for it. But yeah, just a shame to see you go out like that running P2. But we'll see you next week, I guess, then for Pocono.
Yep, can't wait. Love Pocono, so that'll be fun.
Perfect. Well, gonna move on to Matthew Levine then, who finished in the third position. Hello, Matthew.
Hello.
I don't know. I think it's been a while since I've actually spoken to you, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think Silverstone was the last time I was here.
Yeah, so it's been a while. I can promise you my interviews haven't improved at all. So, so P3, just talk me through your race and then really what happened on the final lap. I think Daniel already covered a little bit of it, but just that, and also I think you were behind Daniel and Will all race long, but you would just stay consistent. Just tell me about that as well, how it affected your race, them battling.
Yeah, sorry about my cough. Well, I started on the black tyres and thought I'd go for the alternate strategy, go different to what everyone else was doing. So I lost a bit of time to them in the first stint, and with all the pit cycles, they were always like 10 seconds ahead. But I sort of knew I'd have the reds at the end, and I could just go flat out at the end and try gain as much time as possible. Which I think if I was able to get in front of Sam when I came out of that last stop, maybe I could have, maybe not, but maybe I could have just got onto the tail end of their battle in front. But I came out behind Sam, so I had to fight with him first, which I think cost me a little bit of time that I needed to just press on and catch up. But yeah, so I gained a little bit on those reds at the end, got it down to like 3.5 seconds ish. But then I don't know if you saw it on the replay, coming around the penultimate corner, I go on the curb and then suddenly I hit something invisible and my car just jumps into the air, and I go into the wall. Not my fault at all. Like, that's iRacing. And 10-year-old engine, you don't get that on the Madness engine.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah, but well, I mean, I'm looking at the replay now, and I don't understand what happened. It's like I go on the curb, and then suddenly the nose just like digs in, and I just fling into the air. I lose 100 kilometers in kilometers an hour in click of a finger. And I was just sliding towards the wall, so I lost the front wheel. Otherwise, I could have had P2. Fortunately, I was able to hang on to. I still had both my rear wheels. So I was able to drive to the line and keep P3 at least. But bit disappointing not to get P2. With could have whatever happened there. But yeah.
Well, still a very solid race from your end, getting home some good points over there in the Drivers' Championship as well. I'm not sure where it actually moves you into, but I do think you might be getting a spot on Jasper Orman there. So your team, you and your teammates on the top 3 at the moment. So doing a good job over there. But yeah, definitely sucks. I didn't actually see that at all, so I'll have to look at it after the race. Can't show it on the broadcast, unfortunately, anymore because it's already closed on iRacing. But we'll see plenty of that on the Discord, probably, knowing all the memeing that's going on over here. So going into Pocono though, best of luck for there, and we'll just see you then.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Pocono's a lot of slipstream around there, so it's a little bit of a lottery, I think. But well, all the oval specialists will be back in their OP there, so it'll be tough, but be fun.
Just squeeze them into the wall, like I told. I think it was Daniel to do so.
I prefer the brake check.
That also works, yes. Or maybe just throw a nice little block and just, take them out that way.
Yeah.
All right. Well, see you next week at Pocono then, my friend, and we'll move on to Will Lyon now then. I am pretty sure this is your first win since Nürburgring, but there's about a 1% chance I might be wrong on that fact. But actually make that 100% because I'm usually always wrong with those. But anyway, great race between you and your teammate. Just we already heard Daniel talk about his perspective, but just talk me through yours as well, and also the final few laps with all the shenanigans happening.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy, and I think you are right. I think that is my first win since Nürburgring. So yeah, it's nice to get back on the top step again. Those last sort of 20, 30 laps were just mad. Me and Dan just following each other side by side. Excuse me. I think he had a bit more pace on the primaries, but I was slightly quicker perhaps on the alternates. So yeah, I didn't want him to get too far ahead, and then I'd start scrubbing my fronts, and then I wouldn't be able to keep up with him. So that was why we kept going side by side, and I only really sat behind them for 2-3 laps and conserved when I saw, I think it was Sam and Matt were closing in on us at the end there. But I basically just saved all my push to pass because I knew as long as nothing strange happened, it'd be me and Dan going for the win side by side. So I basically just saved all 10 pushes to pass for like the last 5 laps, and I was ready to use I think about 6 or 7 there on the final lap. But unfortunately, Dan, it looked like he went a little bit too deep, and those final few corners were just crazy. What happened to Matt as well? Just rocket shipped into the air. But yeah, I mean, we feel a little bit robbed. It should have been an SMS 1-2-3 there, but hey ho. But a big congrats to Sam, because as Dan mentioned earlier, his pace was absolutely brilliant. And that was why I had to ease off for a couple of laps just to try and manage the gap a little bit to him. So, fair play to Sam. It's been a long time coming. And it's great to race with Dan. We gave each other enough room pretty much 99.9% of the time. And there was only one time where I perhaps cut across him just slightly too late. I sort of misunderstood the gap. But yeah, it was great fun racing. It was like an oval out there. So exactly how I thought it would go. So yeah, great fun. It's just a shame it ended the way it did.
Exactly. Well, aren't you with Indy Alliance Racing in the Open Series now?
Yes. Yeah. That's my day job, I guess. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm expecting a win at Pocono by about 2 laps then.
Oh no. We did a few races at Pocono this season or last season. I can't remember, but expect Jesper to be strong. Expect Matt, Alexis, Thomas. The whole team will be good there. I'll probably be somewhere behind them, but it should be good fun. Pocono's it's a great track. I don't know if we're at the modern one or the old one. Hopefully the modern, you can get a little bit more slipstream there and keep the pack up together. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, it will be the modern Pocono. So I gotta say, I'm looking forward to it as well. Hopefully you actually can have a good improvement over there, because I know the ovals are slowly getting better for you. So best of luck over there, and yeah, we'll see you next week.
Thank you very much. Cheers, Julian.
All right, well, that's gonna wrap it up. My favorite part of the broadcast as well. I just love doing interviews. I don't know what it is, but I just don't. But anyways, it's been a fantastic race to watch. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed it as well. It was just I can't even describe this race in one word or even in other words. I don't know. It's just impossible. So much happened. It's unbelievable. But well, maybe that's actually the word that we could use to describe this race. Unbelievable. But yeah, of course, next week go to Pocono, then Laguna Seca on the 13th of April to cap off the season 3 of the Prime Rating Racing League. Want to thank Vopsy iRacing Paints for sponsoring the race. Want to also thank Majors Garage, which has sponsored the PMRL over this season and also the last, by the way, for 2 seasons in a row now. You can also use the referral link in the description on the Majors Garage purchase. And yeah, once again, thanks to all the viewers. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel if you want to stay involved with all the PMRL racing action in the future. And yeah, we will see you all then for the